at this point. And you're on, Gerald. Let me know when you're ready. I'll take the banner down. Make sure you unmute yourself, though.
I'm ready.
Hey, how are
Hello.
you?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. Are you good with me being off camera? Because if you're not, I can definitely put myself here. I can put myself on camera for a second. I just have a
Yes.
kind of a crappy camera right now, and I need all my USB ports. So if you're good with this,
Yes,
we'll continue. Well,
I'm
listen,
fine.
it is really great to have you on the show. You have went like viral like crazy in the last couple of weeks. In your interview of
Yeah.
Shanquella's father was fascinating.
Yeah.
How's life been for you? And please introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you so much for having me. Well, of course, I'm Gerald Jackson. I am the founder of the North Carolina Beat. We're based in North Carolina, where I shed light on injustices and expose corruption. And I use my platform to help families and people get justice, and be a voice for them. I've been doing this for 8 years now. I'm very good at it. I love it, and it has been an amazing journey. And I just want to see where God is going to take me and where He's going to take my publication.
Mm-hmm.
And right now he's taking it around the world, and people who has always wondered if there was help out there, or they've always wondered, was there anyone that could be a voice for them, now that they're seeing that a little boy from Jacksonville, North Carolina, is doing what they've all longed for,
Yeah.
and so many people are reaching out to the North Carolina Beat and asking for help. And I just want to be able to help them and use my platform to give them, a voice, louder than the voice that they've been given or the voice that they have.
Would you consider yourself a crime blogger or true crime blogger?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily consider myself that. Um, I'm just all-in-one blogger. I
Okay.
cover everything. I write on business owners, judges, lawyers. I mean, dirty pastors. I mean,
Mm.
anything that you can think of where someone has been wronged. I they come to me, and I talk about if there's a story, whether you was sold a faulty car, or you
Right.
know I mean, some your child is missing, or your loved one is missing, and the police is not doing anything, or they're not putting a bulletin out, you know anything that you can think of. I do it all, so I don't categorize myself to just one thing. I'm an all in one,
Yeah.
and I do it all, whatever it is that deals with justice or injustice, or people being wronged, whether it's wrongfully incarcerated people or whatever it is, I do it all.
And you've been doing it for 8 years, you
Yes, I
said.
have been doing it for years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I connected with you because I mean, I pretty
Thank
much
you so
consider
much.
myself that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
I do focus on
Absolutely.
true crime, but
Okay.
I talk about a
Nice.
little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll catch me talking about aliens, even sometimes, and
Yeah.
UFOs. So,
Yeah.
just me being me. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's really great to have you and to really meet you and be introduced to you. And
Thank you.
I just kind of want to ask you a little bit about you. Tell me about this viral moment that you've been experiencing. Um,
Well, yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
interested in that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty known in North Carolina as it
Mm-hmm.
is for the work that I do. This was just to me another story of a family who needed, help. I mean, this was a situation that cried for help. I mean, the story is just so egregious, and
Yeah.
it's unsettling, to anyone, whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're, a girl or a boy, whether you have friends or don't have friends. I mean, the story is just very touching. And what I can admit to is that I didn't think that the story was going to go as national as it did. However, I do know that with every approach to every story I get, that there's something that I get that no other media outlet gets. And in this situation or this story, I released the photos of every one of
Yes, you
those,
did. You
yeah,
not
who
only
were.
released the photos, but you identified each of those
Yep,
individuals.
yep. And this is the thing. They had already been identified as far as their names because the father and online posts already had a list of those who signed into the Cabo villas over in Cabo, Mexico. But
Yes.
one person is said to have signed everyone's name, printed everyone's name, and signed everyone's name. But one photo was already known, which was Khalil Cook. But as far as Winter Donovan and Malik Dyer and Dejanay Jackson and Nazir Wiggins and Elise Hyatt,
Mm-hmm.
I got those photos. People knew their names, but people didn't know what they looked like.
Right.
So I put, photos to those names, and we got them identified. Now people know what they look like.
Yep.
So
Well, I seen
yeah,
screen caps of your photos floating all over the internet, Twitter,
yeah,
Instagram, YouTube, people putting it up on
yeah,
their channels. So, yeah,
yeah.
I think you did a pretty awesome thing there, to be
Thank
honest
you
with
so
you.
much. Yeah.
So, how did this lead into the interview with Bernard Robinson? And I want to, of course, ask you, how is the family doing
Yeah.
currently?
Well, first, the family is hurt. They are devastated. The warrant that was recently issued was a start for them. It was something that they were willing to say is a start. But of course, they want everyone who was there, prosecuted to the fullest extent of Mexico's law. And
Mm-hmm.
we recently learned that if any United States citizen goes to another country and kills another United States citizen, they can be prosecuted here in the United States. Now, we do know that
Mm.
for murder, but however, as far as them lying and falsifying police statements, um, and then, accessory to murder, or I just don't necessarily know how those laws in Mexico will work, or if there is a law in, the United States where people, in such positions would be prosecuted. I'm sure there is, because, here in America, accessory, to a crime. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
charge for that,
Yep.
um, you know, falsifying police statements is a charge. Obstruction of justice, those are all charges. But will Mexico find, I mean, do they have a law for those, type of crimes? I don't know.
I
But
feel like all of them should be charged.
yeah,
Honestly,
yeah,
they
they
would
should.
be.
Yes, they all should be charged. And I am a person who is for right. I've been through things in my past, but um, as far as this, I'm always for people being properly charged. Okay,
Hmm.
because I have
Right.
a lot of people who's been wrongfully
Overly
convicted,
charged. Oh yeah.
overly charged,
Hmm.
and there are some sitting in prison right now for crimes that they did not commit. Now, for those who resulted in Shanquella's death, those who had the final blow, those who were fighting her, and it resulted in her death, they should be charged. But if people are just sitting around and looking and not intervening, then they should be charged with whatever charges the law allows for the role that they played.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel though if we charge people, for the roles that they played and gather evidence, I feel like that the conviction will be more certain than charging them with something they didn't do, and a jury saying, hey, this does not meet the element of a
Right.
crime, so we have to find them not guilty.
Right.
I feel like that prosecutors, although they are politicians and they are elected into public office, they should not succumb to public pressure. Your job is to interpret the law, find probable cause and bring, the accused before a judicial official, before the courts, and then, let them have their day in trial. And I feel like that if any of them are charged, if say all of them are charged with murdering, Shanquella, even with just being in the presence, only the ones who actually did it would be convicted,
Right.
versus the ones who were just standing there filming. Can you fight back? I mean, come on, Carla,
Encouraging it. Yeah.
encouraging. Don't charge them with what's appropriate for the actions, and the role that they played, so we can ensure that everyone is held accountable, for
Mhm.
what happened to her, you know.
Well,
Um, yeah.
I was going to ask you, I'm just sitting here thinking and knowing that, you've pretty much been speaking for the family at this point, and you've been identified as the family spokesman for
No.
Sean. So, yeah. Well, what I was going to ask you is what, from your perspective, happened, or from everything that you've heard
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
happened? Like, because we're hearing all sorts of conflicting stories,
Yeah.
everything down from, it was one attacker down to now Winter Donovan apparently also having taken a part in this.
Yeah.
I'm really curious about what your
Mhm.
thoughts are on what happened.
Well, I don't necessarily have any um, thoughts about what happened, other than it was messed up how they did her, and they all should be held accountable. I can only go based off of the facts that has been presented, thus far, and those facts came from, the mom and the sister and the dad, and they told me that, Shanquella went on a trip to Mexico for Dejanay Jackson's birthday, and they left Friday, October the 28th. She said they spoke. She spoke with Shanquella, and Shanquella told her that they were eating tacos, they were drinking, and that she would contact her to, the next day, that Saturday.
Right.
And the Saturday come, and Khalil Cook, which is Shanquella's best friend, call and say, "Hey, excuse me, Shaquella's not feeling good. She's laying down. She's been throwing up or what have you." And so,
And was
Miss
that
Solomon,
the best friend of Shanquilla's? Is
yes,
that the
that's
best? Okay.
yep.
Got it.
Khalil Cook is the best friend. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so, um, she said that he called and said that she was laying down, she wasn't feeling good, and she was throwing up. So, she remembered, they were drinking the night before, eating tacos, or having a good time. They had just got, into town. And she told Khalil, well, just keep an eye on her. Maybe she has a hangover, and just look out for her. And like the mom told me, she said, Gerald, I had no reason not to believe, Khalil was telling a lie. But then when he called back, and said that the doctor was there trying to resuscitate her, they were thrown, because it was like, well, wait, you just called us and told us that she was resting and she wasn't feeling good,
Mm-hmm.
so what's going on now? She told me that he put them on hold, and then he came back and told her that it was alcohol poisoning, and they were just trying to figure out like what had happened. So the next day, the 30th, that Sunday, all of them who was over there came back to the United States, came back to Charlotte. Khalil brought Jaquella's luggage to her mom's house, Miss Salamandra's house, or what have you, and again told her that it was alcohol poisoning. She said that Khalil kept coming over every day, every day. His mom would come with him every day, every day. And she said that when they would talk about Shanquella, bring, Shanquella's name up, he would start sweating. He would start pacing, walking back
Really
and forth. He was grabbing his beard. He was just, he was something
nervous.
really was. Yeah, he was
The
nervous.
energy
Something.
was off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, he kept saying it was alcohol poisoning. So then he brought Dejanay Jackson, which is the girl you see in the video. She's not a transgender. She's a girl.
Okay.
Um,
Thanks for clarifying that, because that
yep.
has been a legit question out there.
Yeah. Yep. So she came over to the house along with Winter Donovan, which is the young lady who is standing to the right in the now viral video with the nails that's recording.
Mm-hmm.
They came over to the house, and the family had asked them what happened. They told her she drank too much, got drunk, or what have you. And the sister, Quilla Long, had told me, she said, Gerald, well, we had already heard that there was a fight, that had happened over there from, people that Dejanay was telling had happened. And so they
Right.
asked, the girls that, Quilla was like, well, did y'all jump on my sister? Because I heard y'all jumped on her. And they said they lied. They lied to their face and said, no, there was no altercation. It was alcohol poisoning. It wasn't no fight or no type of altercation. And so they said, okay, well, all right. Again, they had no reason not to believe them because they were there, and
Mm-hmm.
Khalil was Shanquella's best friend. This is not an acquaintance. This is not someone that you just go to the club with and y'all friends. You see each other every weekend. This is not somebody you just go skate with. This is an actual friend. This was
A
someone that went
real.
on vacations with the Robinsons family. This is someone who ate at their table and ate at their table when he came back and told them in
Oh
their
my
faces
God.
it was alcohol poisoning. This is someone that Shanquella went to school with. She stayed with him and his girlfriend, in an off-campus apartment when they went to Winston-Salem State University.
Mm.
This is not just a regular person. So they didn't have any reason not to believe him. They had every reason to believe him because he's been a family friend for over 5 years.
Right.
So they trusted him, but they said, well, we'll just wait till the autopsy come back. So the autopsy came back. When the autopsy came back, it showed that Shanquella had a broken neck and she had a severed spinal cord. And that was, she died as a result of that. And so the family said they tried to call Khalil back once that autopsy came back. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't pick up the phone. He went off the radar, in the words of the father.
And he's been off
And
radar since.
he's been off radar since. Um, so now they get her body back over here. This is now when the North Carolina Beat gets involved. You know, uh,
And
two
is it
weeks ago.
true that they had to pay $6,000 and had to go through quite a process to get her body back? And that it took two
Yes,
weeks?
yes. The dad said that he paid nearly $7,000 to get her body back. Him and his brother had to get on Google, and they had to Google, different funeral homes and morgues to find out where his daughter's body was, because Khalil and the other crew, they left her. So it was
Abandoned.
like that, yeah, abandoned. They didn't get any type of information, to bring back and say, hey, Mr. Bernard, or hey, Miss Salamandra, her body is here. This is who you call. Nothing like that. They just left her, and they left her for dead. So then the video comes out, and now
Now,
the
did
video
they leave before? I mean, because there was a doctor there, and Winter Donovan called 911 apparently, but did they leave that night or that following day?
they left the following day. But let me say
Okay.
this to add to that:
Yeah.
the police report is false.
I'm
There's a
hearing there's some
journalist.
discrepancies.
There's a lot of discrepancies and there's a lot of omissions, and to me it's just the police report is false, and I'll tell you why. There's a journalist, so every news outlet had reported excerpts from this police report that this journalist had obtained, okay, and they got it from his website, and he was exposing the nurse that was there. He was exposing the officers that was
Mhm.
there, and he said that none of what the police report stated is what actually happened. And I have an interview with him on Tuesday
What
at
who
the
is
end.
this journalist?
His name is Gerardo.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
yes,
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 Gerardo Zuniga.
yep.
Yes, he's an
Yep,
investigative journalist that
yes,
yes. So you're
yes.
going
I
to be
spoke with him
interviewing him
today.
on Tuesday.
Yep, I'll be interviewing him on Tuesday. I spoke with him today, and he meets with the prosecutor in Mexico on Tuesday. So I will be able to get the first, information, from him of what the prosecutor is stating is happening in the case. And I sent some questions for him to ask the prosecutor. So that will be Tuesday. And so I'll be posting that as well. So I will
Oh
be
yeah,
speaking with
I will make
yeah,
sure to share that and maybe even have you back for a little, after analysis on that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So and I was very upset at mainstream media because I said, well, you guys took excerpts from his reporting, but you left out the parts that he stated that this was a cover up to protect the image of the Cabo village. I
Mhm.
mean, why didn't you scroll down and take that information and report that? And that's the issue. And that's a lot of um, people issues with mainstream media, is because they pick and choose what they want to report on. And I just find it very disturbing that you can report something and put something out there where it says, oh, it's not how the family said it, or oh, it's not how y'all believe it, that they killed her and just left. Oh, she was actually alive, but then refuse to report the fact that they covered up her death. You know what I'm saying? They covered up
Yes.
things that were going on there. Like, what doctor stays at a home and tries to save someone's life for 3 hours?
I
I mean,
noticed that too. And my thing is, what doctor wouldn't have noticed the knot that was presumably on her head, the injuries to her face from the fight? And I even have questions about Nazir and his arrival. And
yeah.
and there was a video that you showed, and I've got to get some clarification on this very creepy video in
Yeah.
which Shanquella appeared to be sleeping in
Hmm.
a hammock.
Hmm.
N
Yep.
Do we
Mhm.
know if that video was taken before death?
Yes, the video was
Okay.
taken before. She was not dead in that video.
Okay.
Um, an hour later, she was. Well, let me say this. Let me just say it like
I mean,
this.
had she been injured at that point, or had that fight already happened before, and then she's laying in that hammock is kind of what I'm wondering.
Well, to answer your question, to the way social media and technology is set up nowadays, you can just about, make anything a story by putting timestamps on it or what have you. But
Yep.
what I can say, according to the video that was posted on her Instagram story, she was still alive. Okay. She was
Okay.
alive. And I believe, if I can remember, that video was taken at 8:40 Friday when they got there. And then later on, an hour later at 9:45, I believe, she was at the dinner table. They were getting ready to eat tacos. A chef had came over to the house. But to hear him say, we have our first dead body,
Right.
before,
That
and then she's dead,
right.
and then
And
they're
she
saying it's
wasn't
destroying.
moving. Yeah,
Right.
that really creeped me out, and I think it creeped others out, and so
Yeah.
I had to ask
Yeah.
you about that, and
Yeah.
I still honestly question that video. I'm a
Yeah. Me
techie,
too.
so unless I look at the
Me too.
raw attributes
Right.
on it,
Yeah.
I'm
Like
very
the men.
questionable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of video of what went down,
Yeah.
and I have a feeling that it's sitting on these so-called friends' phones. I
Yeah.
think there
It
was a
is.
lot of filming going on.
It is. And what's so funny is the video that was taken from inside, it was actually sent by the person that was filming, who I've been told was Malik Dyer. He sent it to someone else. And I believe they just had enough sense to send it to me and to other people as well. And we released it. I got permission from the family. I blurred the body out. I didn't want anyone to see her body like that. So
Mhm.
I blurred her body out, and the
'Cause she
dad
was
didn't know
not
about the video.
dressed in
No, she
that
was not
video.
dressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she sleeps naked. And so
Right.
it's an indication, and it was very early morning, so it was an indication that they went up there and they started with her. But to what happened, I don't know. There's a lot of speculation, but I can't say that's what happened. I mean, we
Right.
hear this person say, "I'm sick of you," and it's like, for a person to say something like that in the way, in the manner that she said that to Shanquella, it makes it seem like this was something that built up over time. Because it's
Right.
like, if all of us, right, me, you, and your followers, if we're in an Airbnb or we're having fun, and one of us is walking around the house like we run stuff and something, but we ain't paid for jack, you know, and people be like, "Sit down, you're doing too much,"
Mhm.
whatever, and you still days going on, you still doing that. Somebody like, "Man, I'm sick of you. Sit down somewhere. You're doing too much."
Facts.
You
Facts.
get what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna,
Yep.
but for her to say, "I'm sick of you," in that manner, it didn't seem like that it was something that had just happened. It didn't seem like it was something that happened where she was filming somewhere or she set someone up, or it
Right.
doesn't seem like that. It seemed like whatever it was something that built up over time for someone to say,
Yeah.
"I'm sick of you." Because if me and you get into an argument and this is our first time meeting, how can I say I'm sick of you?
Right.
I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
what? So it just I don't know. Something happened that led to this, and maybe they didn't mean for it to. Maybe they just thought it was going to be a regular girl fight, and the boys were filming it or whatever. You know how people do; they film everything. But
Oh yeah.
when
Yeah.
she died,
Weren't
or
expecting
what have
that.
you. But
Right.
then when you look at the house, there's nothing, like no party decorations. It's like, where's the decorations at? Like, y'all over here for a birthday party and there's no decorations, there's
And
no
it
cake.
right. And the birthday and it was Nazir's
Right,
birthday, correct? And he arrived it seems like after she had received her injury, he said he
right,
noticed a bump. I was actually going to
right.
ask you, had you seen those videos that he did? I was quite suspect of the time. He was very specific about the time that he did this
Yeah,
and that he did that. And I'm just like,
exactly. Let me look here at
what?
this. Let me look at Nazir's.
And I'm going to actually upload a video here that I'm processing right now as we speak. And I'm going to have you look at this with me. And I'm curious of your analysis on this because it's just the weirdest thing with
Nazir's
Nazir.
birth. Yeah, Nazir's birthday is October 22nd, 1997. The only person
Okay.
birthday they were over there for was Dejanay's, and her birthday was October 30th. Uh,
Ah,
Maybe he
gotcha.
was trying to celebrate with them or whatever, saying, "Oh, it's my
Right.
birthday too." But of course, you can see from the flask that Shanquella had in her hand on the video that I put on the website. You can obviously see that it says Dejanay's 26th birthday.
Right.
Probably months ago.
Which would make
So
sense if she paid for all
yeah.
of them to go. But I've also heard that money may have been stolen from Shanquella.
Well, when
Um, so I don't
mhm.
know. I kind of wanted to elaborate on that and see kind of what you knew about it.
Well, when I spoke to the parents, they stated to me that they did not know of any money missing, but they had
Okay.
heard that Janae had came back and spent a lot of money, went shopping, but
Hmm.
um, and they were wondering, like, well, why would Shanquella take that much money over there? They just don't believe she would, and they haven't had any proof that money has been taken from her account. They don't know, but they haven't seen anything yet to
Yeah.
to validate those claims.
And I'm sure, that's obviously,
Yeah,
small potatoes compared to everything that's going on right now.
yeah,
And obviously, they just had her funeral, and
yeah,
uh, just
yeah,
it's heartbreaking. And
yeah, yeah,
I don't understand how there can be such a difference in these police reports and
yeah,
the
right,
actual investigating that's going on with this
yeah,
case.
yeah,
It
yeah.
makes no sense. So
It's
what
egregious.
about Winter Donovan? I mean, have you also heard the gossip about or the talk about her grabbing Shanquella by the neck and body slamming her And I mean, is that what you have also heard in with your research?
Yeah, myself and the father and the family had heard about a second video of Winter Donovan grabbing Shanquella by the neck and slamming her, and Shanquella not getting back up. We have not seen that video. I have not seen that video. The family has not seen the video. Um, I did hear that the reporter Gerardo had stated that there was another video that was out there of Winter intervening, or at least intervening. I haven't seen the interview, so I can't really speak on
I'm
to
hearing
what.
people say Elise, but yeah, I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I can believe that, and the reason why I can believe that is because Elise's sister had just got killed, and I believe it was a day.
Right.
Yeah, I believe it was a day before she went to Cabo, and they kind of encouraged her to come. Like, come on, girl, get this off your chest, relax or what have you. And so I believe, from my own interpretation, she would have been over there just kind of out of the way, thinking about her sister
Yeah.
down. And I don't think she would have. So if anything, she would have been like, hey, come on, y'all, stop this. And we haven't heard too much from Elise. Her name hasn't been as loud as
Right.
Malik's, Nazir's, and Winter Donovan and Dejanay. You heard their names because people said Dejanay was a bully a lot, and then you see her in the video, so people was roasting her because of that. Then you had Malik's, name out there because he was throwing parties. Then you had Nazir's name out there because, he did the online video, telling his side of the story. Then you have, Winter name out there because she's the one that's recording, and people thought that it was Nazir on FaceTime. And then you have Khalil name out there because, he was the best friend of Shanquella. So people can't believe, why would you do something like this to your best friend? Why wouldn't you intervene when she said no, she didn't want to fight? So
And how
all
can
of
you
their
face her
names,
family like that
yeah,
and lie to them?
and lie to them. So it's like, um, their names have been louder than Elise. Elise name has only been, talked about because she was there, and because her sister had died. And I don't know how her sister died. I haven't been interested enough to look into why her sister died, because I feel like that you know this story was
Oh,
is more important.
overtakes that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
she obviously felt decent enough to
yeah,
travel, so
yeah, exactly.
it
I
is
don't
what it
know.
is.
I don't know why people are bringing it up. I mean, I've heard
Because
people.
it's awkward. I mean, I'll be real with you. It's very
I
awkward.
was I was just about to say that, because
Yeah,
I'm like,
that
well,
anyone would do that. I mean, either usually when you see that happen, they either really didn't care for that sibling very much or they're very selfish.
yeah,
Uh,
or
or
they
there's something
have
else
done
going
something
on.
or been involved,
Right.
and they're trying to get out of town.
Yep.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
haven't. She said that part, right?
Yep.
And you see, we Annalise King students. We think. See, people don't. That's why
Yes.
people don't like us, because they're like, oh, y'all just. But no, you really have to think about it, because you don't know, the minds of people. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
absolutely not. Absolutely
And
critical
yeah,
thinking.
yeah. So
Mm.
you know,
So check this out. I've got this video up. Would you mind hanging out with me and
sure.
reviewing this video with me? Because I want to get your reaction, and because this was an area I wanted to touch on in which Nazir shows up, obviously after she was injured. And
Mhm.
I don't understand. And he he goes to talking like very specific in regards to times, and it's quite strange to say
Yeah.
the least. So, here I'm going to present this. We're going to have to mute the mics because it'll echo, but
Sure.
it's like 3 minutes, and then we will just be on the side here. All right.
On YouTube, LeakYou.com on YouTube.
To Monday, October 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st going home. Didn't even make it there. So I get off my flight around like 2:16 Mexico time. I guess we 2 hours ahead. 2:16 p.m. I make a phone call. To everybody who there. Like, I need the address. So during this phone call, that's the first time I heard that Kula wasn't feeling good. They told me that Kula was sick and she was showing signs of alcohol poisoning. And they got that because one of their friends told them that they were seeing signs. So she was showing symptoms of alcohol poisoning. But I didn't know it was a fight. Hold on. I got my Bible. Yeah, I'm gonna put this blunt down, because I'm not lying. I'm not gonna lie on that. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not saving nobody's ass. I'm not protecting my ass. I'm just coming here to keep it real, because y'all in my DMs going crazy. And all this posting my address and stuff. Like, y'all can go there if y'all want, but it's not gonna be pretty. But when I got there, it took us an hour. My taxi driver, it took us an hour to get to the villa because there was traffic. I don't know why. So I got to the villa around 3:26. Instantly, as soon as I go in there, I go to Kula. Kula didn't leave my side, none of that, till the nurse came. But I'm going.
I'm sorry. I have to just unpause. I have to pause this really quick. And I just have to say this. You notice that it was 2:16 when his taxi got there and that he arrived at 3:26. I just wanted to put that out there. Very awkward. And no one would normally talk like that because let's keep it real. The reality is that half of us, we don't remember what time we did anything. We give an approximation. It was between 1 and 2. I mean, definitely early that afternoon in a normal situation. You don't normally say things like 2:16 and 3:26 p.m. That's too exact. Exactly. Shout out to Queen's Throne. That is too exact. And that is such a red flag. Shout out to Trish in the building. Smash it. Smash it. Go ahead, Gerald.
And just to be clear, we pulled up his flight. And actually, anytime you go to anytime life where some you're always going to run in the local destination you're going to. So he got to Cabo at 12:28 their time. He didn't get there. Cabo at 2:00.
Oh my. Okay, I'm really glad I paused this then. So, all right, we're going to go back on mute. And okay, got you, Queen, on the echo.
Going home. Didn't even make it there. So I get off my flight around like 2:16 Mexico time. I guess we 2 hours ahead. 2:16 p.m. I make a phone call. To everybody who there. Like, I need the address. So during this phone call, that's the first time I heard that Kula wasn't feeling good. They told me that Kula was sick and she was showing signs of alcohol poisoning. And they got that because one of their friends told them that they were seeing signs. So she was showing symptoms of alcohol poisoning. But I didn't know it was a fight. Hold on. I got my Bible. Yeah, I'm gonna put this blunt down, because I'm not lying. I'm not gonna lie on that. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not saving nobody's ass. I'm not protecting my ass. I'm just coming here to keep it real, because y'all in my DMs going crazy. And all this posting my address and stuff. Like, y'all can go there if y'all want, but it's not gonna be pretty. But when I got there, it took us an hour. My taxi driver, it took us an hour to get to the villa because there was traffic. I don't know why. So I got to the villa around 3:26. Instantly, as soon as I go in there, I go to Kula. Kula didn't leave my side, none of that, till the nurse came. But I got too far ahead. So Kula was laying on the couch in the game room. The fucking villa was like a big ass mansion, no upstairs, all tile on the wall, tile on the floor, straight tile, nothing else. So it was just a big ass villa. I don't know if y'all can view it on the website. Go to Cabo Villas and look at how big this is and what it look like. Well, you're gonna see. So when I got there, she was in the game room. They told me She was not feeling good, so I instantly go to her, put her on her side, get a bag, and all of that. So I'm sitting right next to her the whole time. I was crossing my heart, I hope that I was there the whole time in the game room, and then they was talking about cooking, so we made it to the living room. I cut on some soft music, sitting with her, rubbing her head, just chilling, waiting until the nurse came, because that's what I was informed that was happening. At first, I was told that it was a male coming, and then a female showed up. So, by that time, I skipped another thing. Quilla wasn't found dead. She wasn't found dead. The maids found her slumped over the toilet in her room. That's what they did, find her slumped over her toilet in her room. That's what I was told. Quilla was not dead when I got there. Yeah, boom. So it's like, okay, so when I get in there, I go in, I see Quilla, I see she chilling, I put her on her side, I go out and make that video where I'm talking about I'm here, that I Quilla get up. I'm thinking like, damn, we got stuff to do, ATVs, a boat, dinner. I missed the chefs, I missed everything. Yeah, but other than that, I did. Oh yeah, I know y'all probably asking. But when I walked in there, I didn't really notice the knot on her head until the nurse pointed it out. I did see the bump on her lip. She did have a blood vessel busting her eye, and that's it. But I didn't really go in there like, damn, y'all jumped her, y'all beat her ass, what's going on? Like, could they know, man? And nobody even told me about nothing. I was blind to everything. I'm literally in there giving her my all. Like, come on, girl. We was 2,000 miles away from home. 2,000 miles away from home. Don't nobody deserve this. Don't yeah.
All right, we can come off mute here. I'll stop that screen share. I had to talk about this with you because I know that, when I look at, people that are sources of authority of information in certain cases and things like that, I absolutely come to your page to get my information.
Yeah.
And so when seen this, I was just obviously like, what's up with this exact timing crap? The body language,
Yes. Like I said,
3:26 p.m.
right. 3:26 p.m. Some people like 3:30-ish, 3:45. They like
Right. Or between 1 and
3:26.
3. Yeah. And then the 2:16 or part of when you landed, the 2:16, but he really
Unbelievable.
landed at 12:26.
Yeah.
And apparently the flight was on time according
Mhm.
to those receipts, which I
Yeah.
did see on your website. Actually, it was a
Yeah.
little early from my understanding.
Yeah. Yeah. It was 12:28 when he got there. And the funny thing about it, when he said they're 2 hours ahead, I told him, I spoke to Nazir Wiggins before he went live. He wanted me to go live on Instagram with him because he was upset that I had plastered his name all over the internet and I was
I
giving
seen his
commentary.
post. Yeah, I seen
Yeah.
his post at you.
Yeah. And then he posted all that other stuff, but who cares about that? But
Mm-hmm.
I have a recording on my phone of him. He didn't even know what CPR was. And he didn't even know the time zone. Like he thought that they were 2 hours behind us. 2 hours ahead of us when they're actually 2 hours behind us. Okay. So right now it is 7:47 in Cabo, Eastern Standard Time. It's 9:47. It will be 7:47 there. But so these times, even with the nurse found her slumped over in the bathroom or something along those lines.
Over a
It's like,
toilet.
when did the nurse come in? Like,
But the police report says she was found in the living room.
she was. The police report, she was found in the living room, and that's what the autopsy stated as well.
Right.
But this is how you know it was a cover-up, because the medical examiner's report does not say anything that the police report states. And they called 911 or the doctor and told them, gave them the wrong information. They told them, oh, it's alcohol poisoning. And so when the nurse tried to get her to the hospital, it's like, no, you could treat her here. But I'm like, no, I'm a doctor. She needs to go to the hospital. Y'all gonna move, and I'm gonna get her to the hospital, because they knew that if she had went to the hospital, they would have found that her neck had been broke and
Right.
she had a spinal injury.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, a
No
doctor,
question there was a conspiracy in this
as
at this point.
yes, a doctor can only pronounce you dead after every life-saving measures they have taken to save your life does not work. A medical examiner can determine when you died based off the temperatures of your body and all that other cool stuff that they use to tell that. So the pronouncing dead and the 3 o'clock, I mean, the pronouncing dead doesn't even come into play at all.
Right, right.
That's just the doctor has, given up. Hey,
And the
there's
doctor
nothing
sure
else
was
to do.
there a long time.
3 hours,
Like,
nearly 3 hours.
you didn't feel that nod. You didn't see that nod. You couldn't tell as a doctor that this woman had obviously the way that injury happened. There's no question in my mind that she was
They
a
thought,
quadriplegic at that point. She wouldn't have been able to move her body. She wouldn't have been able to even communicate.
right,
It's
right,
almost being like locked in your body type
yeah,
thing. We're talking about
right,
her neck being completely dislocated at the very top vertebrae.
yeah,
So it would have been obvious there would have been some sort of neurological dysfunction.
yeah.
How did that doctor not pick that up?
And then if you pay attention to the video,
And then do an
Nazir,
IV for nutrition. I don't like
right,
like
Nazir stated that he saw that. So if you saw it and you was right and you was the person that was helping,
he knows
because you
it
say
ain't right.
you
Yeah.
you helped the nurse give CPR or
You
the
were
doctor
rubbing
give
her
CPR. So,
hair.
yep. If you saw the knot, how the nurse or the doctor could not see the
Hmm.
knot? And you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? You saw it, so and you was right there giving CPR, helping them with CPR. And the article said that someone, a friend, was assisting in CPR.
And the
And
way they were
it's
saying how she was unresponsive and she would have been,
yeah,
completely unresponsive in a
she was
situation
dead when
like
they
that.
got there. She was dead when the nurse got there. And another
Mm,
thing, you tried to put an IV in her arm and it didn't take. I mean, that didn't tell you that she was dead. I
mm.
mean, it wasn't like you couldn't find a vein, right? It was just the
Right.
fact that, it wouldn't take. I mean, did that not give you any type of sign that she was deceased? And not only that, but the 3 hours.
It's like that's the time to cover up. Let's discuss our cover up, basically.
Yeah, not only that, but like I said in one of my other videos, you think you're gonna sit up here and I'm an Annalise King student, okay? You really gonna sit up here and think Mr. Jackson is gonna believe these lies that's
Hmm.
coming out of your mouth, sir? You don't think that I don't believe all y'all was in that living room and said this is what we gonna say if we get president?
Absolutely.
This is what we gonna
Absolutely.
say. This is what time you got here. You got to stick to this. You don't think that nobody rehearsed that with him? They rehearsed that with him. Then you talking about, let me look at my passport to see my signature. How I got your passport and see your signature? You got it right in your hand and you don't see your signature. It's right there in front of you. It's just, and then he said, I never left her side, but yet at 4:26, while the medic is there, you're by the pool saying, come on, Quella, get up. You know she's not gonna get up. Then
Exactly.
you want us to believe that, what else got me was I didn't go in there and make no alibis. These would be your friends, though. All y'all went to school together. Why would you be making alibis? I mean, you
Hmm.
want us to believe that nobody told you what happened or what was going on? Come on,
Oh,
bro.
they want us
That
to
is
believe that they didn't see what they seen that we know what they seen with their own eyes. Like it's
exactly,
time for Nazir Wiggins for sure
exactly,
to come clean. Like it
exactly.
don't take
Thank you,
no
King
rocket
Strong.
scientists to
Exactly.
see that you're lying when you did those videos. I've been doing this true crime blogging a long time, man, and I
Yes,
watch a lot of those types of things.
yes,
And
yes,
you are most definitely he is
yes,
almost
yes,
sweating out.
yes,
He's almost confessing
yes.
with his body language,
Exactly.
basically.
Yes, he
And
is.
it's time for him to be real and to have
Yeah.
a real conversation
Yep.
about what
Yep.
really happened when he walked in that house that day.
He walked in that house, and I
Because,
just
I
don't
mean,
think.
he wouldn't be of blame. He wasn't there when it happened. He's the
He
main one
was.
that should be the one telling the truth and doing right by
And
Shanquella
right,
if
and
he
if you're
really
so
cared about her.
innocent, Exactly. And if you're so innocent, if you see a blogger with your name and picture all over the internet, I would be like, yo, hey, what's going on, man? Because when I came there, y'all was acting weird. Y'all told me alcohol poison. What's going on, man? They talking about there's a video out here of Dejanay jumping on Shanquella, beating her up, and then they talking about that the death certificate or the autopsy saying that she died from a broken neck. Like, yo, what's going on? I would have got on there like, look, see, I text them and asked them what's going on. They didn't tell me nothing. Like, I just feel like you should have been more prepared, brother. Like, you should have made it seem real. Just like if y'all wanted to say she died from alcohol poisoning, or at least say, oh, she was drunk and fell and died. At least if you would have said something along the lines, well, she fell down the steps, that would have
Like, right,
corroborated with the bruises and the bumps and
right,
all of that. Not no
right.
freaking alcohol poisoning, and then not knowing that an autopsy is going to reveal and they have nothing to do with that. I mean, are y'all dumb? I'm thinking they are really dumb. And I
I'm
think they
thinking not
really
only are they
cheated their
dumb,
way through
I
school.
think that their lie got very convoluted,
Yeah, yeah,
and became very convoluted. And the more people
yeah,
that you involve in something, in a
yeah,
crime like that, the more
yeah,
convoluted things get, and then people start getting detached,
yeah,
and shit falls through, so to speak.
yeah,
And before you know it, people start getting caught up in their lies. And
yeah,
then, I mean, they're coming up here doing videos talking about 2:26, 3:26 p.m. I arrived at 2:16 p.m. Like, that just
and the
so unnatural.
rubbing
Yeah,
her hair and
you don't
playing
see the
Summer
knot.
Walker.
Right.
After a girl came out and said that you raped her in high school, I mean,
Mm.
in high school, I mean, and then so when she said that, I'm going back, you fondling with her, messing with her hair, and playing Summer Walker? Are you serious?
I
You
just
play a Summer Walker to someone who is having a medical emergency? Unbelievable.
I I
Unbelievable.
I don't know how big that knot was, but it had to have been quite noticeable,
It was
um,
no.
if he,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
mentioned it in that video. There's
yeah,
no way he didn't know that there was something really, really, really wrong. Whether or
yeah,
not they were completely truthful with him, who
yeah,
knows? But
yeah,
it's not, he shouldn't have made it his burden to bear. It's almost like he walks in,
yeah,
after all
yeah,
this happens, and then he takes on the
yeah,
lie, and he shouldn't
right.
have. And he
Yeah,
literally should back away right now, turn
yeah.
away, turn around, walk away, and be real and be honest about what really happened,
You
what
should.
you really seen when you walked in that door that day.
Yeah.
you
And you
know?
know what? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, no, go
Yeah.
ahead.
I think he's gonna be the one that's gonna squeal.
I
He,
really hope he does. I definitely offer my platform to him if he's interested. I'm sure he could
yeah,
get a
absolutely.
thousand platforms, but I would
Yeah,
absolutely offer it.
yeah,
Just to even
yeah.
come up and just have a conversation, and just let's just keep it real. Like, I,
Keep it real.
I'm just a normal person looking at this from, a true crime type of, through my eyes, and this is what I see. And I
Yeah,
see a lot of guilt dripping off of him in those
yeah,
videos.
yeah,
It's like seething
absolutely.
out of him, out of his pores,
Yeah, yeah,
basically.
yeah. It's
So, do we
it's it,
know why Winter would have body slammed Shanquilla? Like, did she take issue with Shanquilla? Was this like a gang up? Were both of them mad at Shanquilla? Do we know?
well, I don't even know if what the second video is said to show is even real.
Yeah,
I know that but what I do believe, what I do know is that there is a second video, because
right.
we just got when the phone cut off for the person filming for this, or
Yep.
whoever had it, shorten it to 18 seconds for us to see. But there
Facts.
has to be more. I'm sure when the video cut off, from what we see, it didn't cut off from Winter's phone right beside it, or the person's phone who was actually recording. I'm sure they got all that reaction. You mean to tell me
Absolutely.
her on it come off and she like, man, get up? You mean to tell
And
me they cut
they And
on
one
that.
of them uploaded the video, right? One
Right.
of the
Yeah.
friends
Yeah.
uploaded the video,
Yeah.
and I wonder
Yeah.
why they did that. Which
Yeah.
friend uploaded the video? Do we know which
Well,
friend?
I don't know what friend uploaded the video, but a source who talked to me told me, and they are friends with Dejanay. It
Mm-hmm.
said that Dejanay's mom had told them that Malik Dyer was the one who recorded the video, which is the guy with
Mm.
the plaques, which is the guy that's been throwing parties. Well, they've been getting canceled now because I'm sure he's the year of his life because the streets want him.
Mm.
But what I can say is that it is believed that Malik Dyer is the one who sent it out, and whoever he sent it to, they saw
Mm-hmm.
it and was like, "Yo, this is not right," and then it was
Mm-hmm.
sent to me. Okay, and the reason
Gotcha.
why it was sent to me, and the reason why a lot of information is sent to me on stories, because people know that I'm passionate about what I do, and they know I don't shy away. And before Gerald Jackson takes anything back, he's going to add more to it. Okay. And they know that I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to talk about it. I'm not scared to do that. So I believe that's another reason why people, sent the video to me, and why people send me information, period, because they know if anybody's going to talk about it, put it out there, it's going to be Mr. Jackson.
Yeah,
You ain't got to worry about it
yeah,
being edited.
that's
You don't have to worry about it going through no producer. You don't have to
right.
worry about, no, you don't have to worry about
It's
any of
always
that.
good to have a connect to a blogger, believe me.
Yeah. Yes. So I don't know why Winter would. We're all on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
All we know is that it was not alcohol poisoning, like they said. It was a fight, and that resulted in her death. And now we need to know why the fight happened.
Which, from what I
That's
heard, could have been
yeah,
something as small as a card game down to,
yeah,
something very, very, very stupid. But like you said, it did seem like maybe there was an annoyance there that had
yeah,
built up over time. I
yeah,
mean, you
yeah,
could kind of see that, but
yeah.
again, I mean, I don't think that this was premeditated either
Right.
at all.
Yeah,
I think that, this fight happened and that body, slamming or whatever, uh,
right,
obviously you don't
right,
do that to
right,
people for reasons. And I think she fell on her head the wrong way, and that's how her injury was so severe.
right,
I just there's no way she would have been able to move from that point on. So they had to have known.
right.
There's no question in my mind. They had to have known there was something wrong immediately after that. So they
Yeah,
can't walk around and say like, oh, it was this, it was that. No, this became a cover-up situation immediately
yeah.
with every one of
Well,
those friends.
let me say this. I'm not the one to get into conspiracy theories. Never been. I hate them. If you want to be honest. Now, I do believe in theories because we have to have theories and scenarios to investigate. That's part of investigative journalism,
Mhm.
and whatever theory you have, you go search for the truth of that. You go find facts. Now, there was one theory that kind of stuck out to me and made me say, But I repeated it once, but I'm not even going to repeat it. But I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Just in case you did not know, Dejanay Jackson and Malik Dyer, the one who recorded the phone, the one who was recording the video or said to have recorded the video, him and Dejanay is best friends. Like they're best friends, like Shanquella and Khalil.
Okay. Got
There
it.
was there was a rumor that stated that Shanquella had caught Khalil and Malik having sex. Now,
Mm.
from the investigation that I've done and the information that I've gathered, Khalil would be someone who is, maybe gay, and Malik would be someone who is maybe down low. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Maybe still mess around with girls, but mess around with guys too.
Right.
And if Shanquella had recorded a video, I can see Malik not wanting that to get out, even if she said I
Oh
wouldn't do
yeah.
that because my friend is in the video too. Okay. So when they were saying that they were asking Shanquella for the phone and she wouldn't give it back, it kind of made it seem like, okay, well, they asked her for the phone. It got, it got her best friend on it, and then it got Dejanay's best friend on it. And she wouldn't give it back. So maybe Malik got Dejanay to fight Shanquella because Dejanay and Malik is friends, and he's on that
Right.
video. He will be down low, and he wouldn't want the hood to see him having sex with another man.
Right.
Maybe that's how the fight got started. Well, if you don't want to give me the phone, I'm gonna get my homegirl, and she like, I'm sick of you. You know what I'm saying? Or you don't do no stuff like this. Give me the. But we don't know because it's early in the morning, and again, Shanquella sleeps naked. So I don't know if it's something
Like
that
right
happened.
out of her sleep. It's almost like she was
Yes,
woken up.
yes. So that was the only scenario that I saw that probably could have been something there. But then I said no, because Shanquella and Khalil has been friends over 6 years. Why would she threaten to put a video of her best friend out having sex with another guy? Like, she wouldn't do, like, what? Your friend is gay. Why would you want to do nothing like that? You know what I'm saying? And the people that I talked to that knew her, she wasn't that type of person. She was a confidential person. She can hold anything. And I'm sure there were some secrets that she took to her grave. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's some that I would take to mine, but I don't believe that's what happened. But if you look at it and if you know the relationships, you say, okay, I can see that. Because me, if a girl trying to be for me, I'm sure not gonna get my homegirl to not get on your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm a man, I'm not gonna fight you. I'm gonna get my
Yeah.
home.
And I mean, you can kind of pick that up based off the fact that the male in the video is clearly
Right,
encouraging and almost
right,
like sounding disappointed that
right,
Shanquella's not fighting
right,
back.
right,
And
right.
so to me, it's like that. If it just gives me the feeling that he would have known that that was going to go
Yeah.
down.
And another thing, she's like moving slow. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when she's on the
Right.
ground and she moves her hair up like that, it's like it's real slow. Now,
She could have
me,
been drunk from the night before still.
yes, or she could have been drugged. Some people say, well, when you get up, somebody just wake you up, you sluggish, it's sluggish like that. But me, I'm like, man, listen, I don't give a if you've been asleep 3 hours or 12 hours, if somebody wake you up to my get up fight, the natural reaction of the average person would be, I might not know what's going on, but I'm finna get you up off of me. You know what I'm saying? And for her to not have that type of reaction, it just makes me feel like that they may have put something in a drink the night before, and that's why she was having the hangover. Because let's be clear, Khalil, when he called the mom the first time to say that she had a hangover, that was him setting up the call to try to say, well, she's not feeling good. So then call back and say she's dead. You get what I'm saying? He couldn't just
Yeah.
call and say, hey, mama, Shanquella is dead. And what? What do you mean? Y'all just left yesterday? Why she dead? So he had to set the call up. He had to make it seem like something was already going on with her, because believe it or not, if me and my friends out on a trip, baby, and we drunk and we get towed down and we drunker than the Cooter Brown, or we high than the Cooter Brown, and we having a hangover, I'm not going to call your mama and say, my such and such is having a hangover, he ain't feeling good. I'm not about to do that. I'm going to get you some ginger ale, I'm going to get you some aspirin, ibuprofen, or you're going to eat. You're going to get up and eat, or you're going to sleep it off. But for him to call is because he knew something had happened and he knew what had happened. He had to set it up to make it seem like, well, let me just say she's not feeling good, so then I can call back and that'll be a justified reason for me to say she's dead now, or they trying to resuscitate her. There was no way he was just going to call and say, Mom, Miss Salamandra Shanquella is not breathing. She would have lost her mind. But he was like, well, let me call and say she's not feeling good. She's throwing up. She's laying down. All right. Bought enough time. Let me call back because we got to figure something out now. Hey,
Yeah.
she's been resuscitated, So they can dismiss me with all that bull crap. I've been doing this for a long time.
Right.
They can dismiss me with that. They're all lying.
Yep. No, I agree with 1,000% with you on
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
No question in my mind.
Yeah. It's
And it's the cover up that becomes so hurtful because honestly, and the aggression, that whole thing, I think a lot of people were a little, taken aback about the whole term femicide and what that means. And I mean, really what Mexico is saying is that this particular murder was especially egregious, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, and you would consider it here in the States as being aggravated,
Yeah.
essentially. So,
That's
like a
yep.
capital murder in Texas.
Yep. 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 Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
but I mean, they could seriously, if it is Dejanay who the warrant,
Yep.
has been, they're trying to extradite. This prison that she will go to is going to be something like nothing she has ever known. We actually looked at what life was like in that exact prison where she will be going last night, and doesn't sound too pleasant at
Well,
all.
that's if the
Right.
United States doesn't decide to prosecute the case, because they can prosecute the case, or they can
Or
send
they
it. They
could
can,
really extradite her and
they can
send her to
extradite her.
Mexico.
And
I
that's what they
mean,
should do.
we
You
took
killed him over there.
we got
You
El
killed him.
Chapo.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
mean, if we were able to get El
Yeah.
Chapo where he really rightfully belonged in Mexico,
Yeah.
then I don't see why the United States wouldn't pay this favor
Thank
back
you.
to Mexico for a high profile case like
Thank you.
this.
Thank
That's
you.
just kind of how I look at it.
Thank
So
you.
my expectation would be that she will be
Yes.
extradited.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So,
And it's like, mm,
I mean, I think United trying to prosecute a case in the United States for a murder that happened in another country. There may be a law in the books, but that would be something that would be extremely difficult to do. Um, I'm not saying it can't be done, but I think that would probably be more of a last resort. And also, too, I mean, this also tarnishes the reputation
yeah.
of Cabo and the fact that it is a place of tourism.
Yeah.
And this has
Totally.
obviously disturbed Mexican
Yeah.
authorities so much so
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it sounds like to me they kind of want her, they want her from a high level, uh, you know, wise. They want her.
Yeah.
They want her to come to Mexico and
Yeah.
deal with the Mexico law
They
for what
should.
she did.
They should. And like I stated earlier, if the United States, and because they technically they can face charges in two places. If
Mm-hmm.
the United States find that they plotted before they went over there to do something to her, whether they meant for it to kill her or not, they still can be charged with that, or what have you. And at this point, we really honestly don't know who the warrant is for, but I believe it's
Yeah.
Dejanay Jackson, for the simple fact that the video shows that she hit in the areas where you know Shanquella sustained injuries at, and whoever is harboring Dejanay, and they know that there's a warrant out for her arrest, please be aware that you too can be charged for harboring a fugitive.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
and I just want you to know that. And I don't think they understand that. And the truth of the matter is, everyone should be telling the police where every one of them is at, because technically we don't know who the warrant is for.
Mm-hmm. And that's actually a really good segue into the fact that all of these so-called friends have just disappeared into the wind. Like she's like the wind, like literally. Um, we haven't heard anything from any of them
Yeah,
lately. It's like there's been no shots of them anywhere. I've seen no leaks of photos, coming out. Are they hiding?
right.
You know? Are they feeling a little nervous about now?
Right.
You
And I,
know?
I haven't even seen if Nazir has even posted since an arrest warrant was put out there. Has he posted since the arrest warrant?
I have not
I have not seen.
seen anything. Yeah.
I have not seen anything, posted. But I do know that Winter Donovan did not go live. Okay, so
Right.
the recording going around of her telling what happened, it didn't go live because I listened to it. And I'm like, child, people just do anything for clout. And I'm like, girl, why
In
didn't you
every
call
case.
911?
in every case, and I know you've been doing this 8 years. I've been doing this since the late 90s when I was doing blogging in written form before
Yeah,
videos were a thing. And I
blogging, yeah,
swear, in every single case I've ever had, there's always a clout chaser that
all
will try to put themselves or insert themselves into a case. They'll make themselves fake victims.
yep,
They're the friend of this and that.
yeah,
I've seen that so much in every murder case. High profile
yeah,
rappers, there's always someone that's going to want to claim the credit,
yeah.
that sort of a thing. But I kind of look at this like, when are they going to start turning on each other? Because there's no honor amongst thieves, and there's just too many of them involved in this cover up. They're not all going to be able to keep the same story.
This is this is very dangerous, and I say it's dangerous because it's dangerous if a person who didn't do nothing. What if Elise, right? Let's use Elise as an example. What if Elise was downstairs in her bed, she didn't get up, and she just, sometimes you land in the bed, you just leaned
Mm-hmm.
up listening. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
you just laying there, like, you know what I'm saying, listening to what's going on. What if she was really downstairs in the bed just sleeping, or down the hall sleeping, and everybody turns it on her and say she did it?
Right.
It is very dangerous. That's why you shouldn't allow enough time to go by without
That's
telling
right.
the truth.
That's why you got to be honest from the start. And even if
Start.
you have already covered something up and you've been dishonest, you can stop that right now from
Yes,
this moment forward and be
yes,
completely honest about
yes,
everything that happened so
yep,
that you can get that weight off your
absolutely.
chest, because I
Yep,
know all 6 of y'all are carrying
yep,
some very heavy burdens on your
yep,
shoulders right now
yep,
of
yep,
your own making.
yep. So I just, I just, I just feel like that they need to come forward
They need to clear their names individually.
and
This
sadly,
every single one of them needs to clear their names. Period.
yep,
Hiding out is not making the situation better.
yeah,
Being quiet is not making the situation better. It's only amplifying the situation
yeah,
each day. More and more bloggers are picking this up.
yep,
When I did a search on Shanquella's name on YouTube
yeah,
today, and I've been covering it since it happened, but the
right,
number of people that are live talking
oh,
about this case,
yeah, yeah,
it's reverberating
yeah,
everywhere, because people, it's just how, and the audacity to, that she took them
yeah,
and paid for their trip, and the way that they did her, and no one can get over how Khalil lied to the family like that, day after day after day, and then all of a sudden disappeared ever since the autopsy results came out. Hasn't even been seen. Family hasn't heard from him.
This is the thing. If I was in his situation, bro, you didn't kill her.
Right.
You didn't do anything.
He has every reason to be, just to put it out there, to be
You
clean
have
about
every,
it all.
you
He
have every
knows
reason to
them no
come back.
loyalty.
No loyalty. You have every reason to come back and say, Miss Salamandra, them girls beat her and they
I
jumped
didn't
on.
know what to do.
Yes,
I,
her friends tried to jump me and beat me up and threatened to
they
hurt
said they
you.
were going to kill me. There's other men involved. I mean, it is time to come the fuck clean on this shit.
It's time to come clean. And it's time to stop this lying. Because to be honest with you, whether you come clean or not, you're going to jail. Bottom line. None of them are going to get away with this. Now, they all may not do the same time, and they may
Yeah.
not all face the same type of charges,
But I'll
but
tell
they
you
all
what,
will be in jail at the end of
in
this.
jail in Mexico is no laughing matter. It's
Yeah,
no trip
yeah, yeah,
into the park either at
yeah,
all.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. It's,
wow. So
it's going to be.
tell us about your interview Tuesday, because I don't know if you heard about, there's a viral video going around. We actually did a little review on it before this video with the lead attorney, uh,
Mhm.
interviewing that investigative reporter Gerardo. which was very interesting.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to your interview
yeah,
with Gerardo.
yeah,
So, what do you
yeah.
guys got planned on Tuesday?
Well, I have some very, very thought-provoking questions for Mr. Gerardo, and I'm still getting them together, and it's going to be a very, very interesting interview. And one of the most things that kind of sticks out to me is here in America, baby, it is impossible for a journalist, blogger, or the press to speak to a prosecutor involved in prosecuting a case. Now, I
I
do
know,
understand
right?
that Mexico is a third world country and they do things different. If they
Yeah.
don't do stuff, like we
Money
do
talks
here.
in Mexico,
Money
literally.
talk, yes. And just to know that he will be speaking to a prosecutor who will be prosecuting this case to get information, that's very interesting to me. And I have some good questions for that
Yeah.
prosecutor. And I'm hoping that, we will learn those answers, live on, the NC Beat on Tuesday. So it's going to be a very interesting. I hadn't had an opportunity to listen to the lead attorney's interview. Um, so I might,
Definitely check it out. It may
yeah,
help you even create more thought-provoking
yeah,
questions for your
yeah,
interview.
exactly. Yeah, I might take a listen to that before tomorrow. I might listen to it late tonight, while I'm winding down or what have you. But it's going to be a very interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
Oh, I agree. And we will definitely be there. I don't know if you figured out what time you're going to do it, but make sure you schedule it. I'll definitely share it on my page.
Yeah,
And me and
yeah,
my crew will make sure we come through
yeah,
and show
yeah,
some support because
yeah, absolutely.
he is definitely the right man to
Yeah,
talk to for sure.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, because he is doing what I do. That's what
mhm.
I mean. He's doing the same thing that I do, I'm really honestly praying for him. I'm praying
Yes,
for him.
you
For
have
his
to.
protection.
His
Yeah,
job is very dangerous.
it's very dangerous. It's
Yeah.
very dangerous, being that they're literally covering it up.
Hmm.
Like over here in America, like you really have to dig and dig and dig to expose, cover ups, because they do a very good job of covering it up. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
you know, with this situation, when I read the excerpts from the police report, I said, "Oh, that's a lie." Just like I said, it was a lie when Nazir went live. I put it on my Facebook page. I said, "He lying," you know,
And it's
and
so obvious. I arrived at 2:16 p.m. And I mean, there's a lot of people who hadn't seen that video. I hadn't even seen that video yet.
yeah.
But for him to, I arrived at 2:16 and then I get to the house at 3:26 p.m. Nobody talks like that in a normal situation. That's just the truth.
And then the thing about it is, if anyone ever been across overseas or been out of the country, the hotel from the airport to his hotel. Check this out. If he got there at 3:26, right?
Mhm.
If he got to the house at 3:26, first of all, from the airport where he arrived at to the villa is 40 minutes. But then you have to, it takes about 20 minutes to go through customs. So it would technically be about an hour before, you even get there. So technically he would have got there around 4 something. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's how you know he's lying. And that's how you know that these times was just
Nobody
thrown up.
talks like that in normal conversation. He knew he was going to go live. He knew he was going to do that video, and he sounded utterly ridiculous.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly. And God hand is in all of this, and he is going to bring every one of them to justice. Better believe it. Mark my word.
Yeah, I believe in karma as
Yeah,
well, in karma
yeah,
law, and I
yeah.
just it
Mm. Yeah, it's very.
it's going to be interesting how their lives will be, a year from now. These are going to be people I know that will be following a year from now, 5 years from now, the Cabo 6. They've already been labeled the Cabo 6. Like it's a hashtag at this point. Um and so to see this reverberate around. Well, let me tell you this, something that was really interesting in the lead attorney's interview is how the case went viral in the first place. In the way that, it had happened and the reporters didn't even know that it had happened.
Wow.
That another, foreigner had been killed there in Cabo. And obviously, because it's a tourist area,
Mhm.
that is why it is like very, very bad. But yes, Dejanay better get ready.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I really feel
Yeah.
like they're going to extradite her though. And I really
Yeah.
hope they do.
Yeah. I really believe so as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, I agree. Well, listen, we'll definitely be there Tuesday, and it has been really an honor to have you on the
Thank
show
you so much.
tonight. I really appreciate you coming on. The guests have really enjoyed,
Yeah.
the audience has really enjoyed having you over here, and let's catch up again
Sure,
another
we will.
time. You
Yeah,
know,
we will.
N-
Just message
once
me and let me know. We'll get
I
something set.
will. I will. I will. Thanks for coming up, Gerald. I really appreciate you. And hey, if I get any tips or anything, I'll definitely reach out to you.
Yeah, please do because we want to keep Shanquella's name in the headlights, and we want to keep her name on people's hearts and minds, so that we don't ever remember what has happened to her. And I feel as though we all are re-examining our friendship circles. And I tell people all the time, this is not Shanquella's fault. You don't know when a person will turn on you. You will never know when a person will betray you. You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
it's like sometimes it's not what a person do to you, it's who do it that hurts you the most. And to I can't even imagine what Shanquella may have been thinking about as she was being assaulted, because this was not a fight. Let's be clear, this was an assault. This
Oh,
was
a vicious
assault.
assault.
Yeah,
I
this was
mean,
assault.
vicious.
Yeah.
The way she would have had to have landed on her head to obtain that knot, to have caused that injury, that was a very, very, very
Yeah,
hard
yeah,
hit.
yeah.
Just
Mm.
very unfortunate. I'm trying to catch your question, Shish Trish, but I don't see it, babe. The comments done went by so fast. And what's your question? Get it in real quick, Trish.
And then I don't know. I'm not trying to undermine the video and the assault that was inflicted upon Shanquella, but there has to be something else that happened to her other than just that video that we saw. Because from the punches and the throws that
She was
Dejanay was
hitting her
giving her,
pretty good in the face, though.
she was hitting her pretty
Dejanay
good in the
was,
face.
yeah.
But did the punches land enough to break her neck and her spinal
No,
injury?
no,
I don't think so.
absolutely not. Matter of
So
fact, she was still sitting up.
yeah, she was still exactly,
So
and
there,
she did
no,
exactly.
no, she wouldn't have been
So
able to sit up. She wouldn't have been able
no,
to move anything. She would have been
yeah,
completely quadriplegic
right,
based off that injury.
yeah, yeah, and wow, I just realized I had one earring on.
Oh, I didn't even notice it.
And then I'm looking down here at the phone, like, oh, it's down there. I think my back came out, but yeah, so I don't think so too. So I believe something else happened.
Yeah.
Definitely, I
No,
don't
no
believe
question. I
those.
believe that that body slamming
Yeah,
story is true.
yeah,
It's just the question is why?
yeah,
Why body slam?
yeah,
Body slammer like that. And why is it winter?
right.
Why was it at Dejanay who
Yeah,
was sitting there fighting with her?
yep, yep,
So just, and that's all, it's all of the lies. And then of course I've also heard that Elise, was trying to break up the attack and the situation. And that was something that the lead attorney talked about with Gerardo, which you'll get to see when take a look
yeah,
at the video. So, but
yeah.
yeah, we have really enjoyed having you on the
Thank
show,
you,
and I really appreciate you coming through.
thank you,
And feel free to come through anytime, and we'll definitely see you on Tuesday.
thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you for
Absolutely.
this opportunity. Bye, everyone.
Absolutely. Take care.
You too.
All right, guys. Well, that was fantastic. I really, 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 been looking forward to that interview with Gerald Jackson from the North Carolina Beat, also the NCBeat. And, again, I will continue to follow this case and we'll keep you guys updated on, everything regarding this case as the weeks move forward. Thank you, Trish. I appreciate you. Smash it, everyone. Smash it. Shout out to just Trish in the chat. Sometimes annoying as hell, but I love her dearly. Shout out to Queen's Throne also in the chat. Shout out to Gloria. Shout out to all my moderators. I think I seen TRG in the building. Shout out to Melly in the building. Man, it's a whole bunch of y'all in the building. I seen April Walker up in here. I seen 7 Stars up in here. Shout out to 7 Stars. Yeah, we've been really doing it over here, to be honest with you, just trying to do that real content, trying to stay away from the drama, okay? Trying to, do that real content. And I hope that I'm inspiring others to do real content as well, and that you don't always have to yell at your phone and scream and fight with people to be a blogger, okay? Listen, guys, I do have some bills that I do need to pay really quickly, so bear with me. Shout out to the LeakYou community. Please join us on Spotify. Shout out to the LeakYou community. Please join us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music.
Please hit the like. Thank you.
The judgment sentence that you are an asshole. The trial is over. Thank you, everybody.
Let's play a game. You have 10 seconds to take all your stuff and get out of my life. 10, 9, 8.
God bless you, motherfucker.
You're really smart. Like really, really, really smart like I am.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody who came through. I appreciate each and every one of you. I will be back tomorrow, and I'm going to drop another video. I'll be premiering it. And we are going to be talking about the Moscow murders, the murders of 4 young men and women, which is still a mystery as to who their murderer is. Shout out to Just Jess in the chat. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. I will promise I'll keep doing that. I will keep pushing forward. And if there are any cases that you have in mind or something that you want to see covered, I don't guarantee I'll look at every case you send, but if you email tips@LeakYou.com, or if you come up into the Discord whenever I drop a link, which I'm not tonight, from time to time, I will open up the Discord for 24 hours. That's probably the best way to get up with me, but you can email tips@LeakYou.com. It could be, whatever case, missing, children, murder cases, especially cold cases, and even new cases that are just now happening. And I do tend to enhance surveillance video in a lot of murder cases. So thank you, T Breeze. I appreciate that. So listen, guys, I'm going to let all of you go enjoy the rest of your night as this Thanksgiving holiday wraps up. It's over. You bitches got to go back to work in the morning. And so do I. So do I, guys. It's all good. We'll get through it together. Again, it was really a pleasure to meet with Gerald, and you guys, I've really enjoyed this live, hanging out with each and every one of you guys. Good night, everyone. Have a great day, guys. Until next time.